Welcome to Women in the Arena podcast, the podcast celebrating women doing extraordinary things in plain sight. I'm your host, Audra Egan, and our mission is to elevate the value, strength, and resilience each woman brings to the world. Without further delay, let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome in, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me again this week. I have a question for you all. What do you think about when I mention the words feminine or femininity? Or maybe the better question is, how does it make you feel? Does it give you a certain type of emotion? Does it make you feel comfortable? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? These are all questions that we're going to talk through and consider this week with my guest. We're joined this week by Sarah Bohdanova, and she is the creator and president of the Femininity Project. And boy, does she have some refreshing ideas on these concepts. I hope that you enjoy the time that we spend with her today, and I can't wait to get started. So let's not delay, and let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for joining me again this week. I am so excited to introduce to you my guest today. I'm joined by Sarah Bohdanova, and she is a World Professional Semi-Finalist in Latin dancing. She is an award-winning coach and an entrepreneur. She is the founder of the Femininity Project, and she's the creator of the online course of How to Walk in Heels. We definitely want to ask her about that because it's how to walk in heels without pain. That's an important part. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Sarah Bohdanova. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you for being here, and you're joining us from Canada, from Vancouver.
Yes, Vancouver, BC.
Yeah, where it is, looks like it's a little gloomy day, but you are on the water, so any day that's on the water is a good day.
Agreed.
So I want to ask you about your work with all of the women that you've worked with over the years. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my background is in ballroom and Latin dancing. And for the past 2 decades, that has been my profession. When I was I was coaching a mix of men and women and couples. But I really started to enjoy the work that I was doing with women. And I would find that a lot of women would come in initially wanting dance lessons. That was the purpose that they'd come in for. But what they actually wanted, or one of the big benefits or hidden benefits, was they wanted to connect to their femininity. And this gave them an outlet to do it. So by working on their posture and their movement, and even a little bit about their story and how they wanted to present themselves, it unleashed this whole other line of work that I started to love. And so it started in the dance studio, but I wanted to make it available to women outside of the dance studio. And that's why I created the Femininity Project.
So tell me a little bit about that connecting with your femininity, because I think that gives a perception.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear that gives a perception of something that it's not, that it's so much more than what it sounds like. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say to people who are listening to this is, how do you feel when you hear the word femininity? Does it excite you? Does it make you curious? Or maybe it repels or offends you? So start to think about what comes to your mind, and then also visualize, who is the woman that comes to your mind. Is it a woman who is soft-spoken, who wears pink and heels? Like, is there a visual that you've already attached to that word? Because the definition of femininity is just qualities and appearance related to being a woman. So femininity is just the state of being a woman, whether you're wearing heels and a dress or whether you're wearing yoga pants and sneakers. So I think women need to first redefine and look at how they're viewing femininity, because there's so much of a societal narrative that messes with our head. So when I think of femininity, I think of a woman who has spent the time to think through how she wants to look, feel, and show up in the world. And she's cultivated her environment, her habits, and her rituals to support that. It starts with having a clear vision of what you define as femininity.
Because it's different for everybody.
100%.
Because what I define as femininity may be completely different the way you defined femininity, and they're both right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what you've discovered as working with these women and how they started to get in contact with whom they really were.
Yeah. What I've noticed across the board is every woman wants to feel beautiful. Every woman wants to feel confident. It doesn't matter what that confidence looks like, whether it's a certain outfit for one person or a certain outfit for another person. The feeling of confidence every single woman wants. There's nobody who doesn't want that. So, working with women, some of the things that I've noticed, for example, when we start to change the way that they hold their body, they start to feel different. They start to present differently. I've had my kind of the woman that sort of launched me into this was one of my clients who was coming in with her husband, and she was going through depression, and I was working with them for about maybe 6 months. And then she came in one day and she was solo. And she told me, she's like, Sarah, he's having an affair. And she was already, you could just see that the years of depression had wilted her, like her whole body, the way she dressed, even the way she talked. So for that first lesson, we just sat in the back ballroom. She just cried. I was just with her. And then the next lesson, I had a plan of I'm just going to start by working on her body position. Just start to get her standing upright, even if she didn't feel like it. So she came in, she cried for about 10 minutes, and then we got up and we started to work on her positioning. The end of that lesson, I told her, I want you to go buy a red lipstick and I want you to wear it for our next lesson. And I could see immediately the fear behind just even the thought of this little tube of lipstick, how it was such a trigger. I said, you don't have to wear it anywhere else. Just wear it for our lesson. So the next day she came in and she had that red lipstick on. And slowly, little by little, we worked on different things like her body position, her tonality, how she was expressing herself. We talked about how to walk into a room in heels confidently and comfortably. We talked about her personal style. And the changes was ridiculous. Like a year later, you would not know that this woman was the same woman who came in before. Her house, she painted all her walls with different colors. It was like this rainbow infused her life and she unlocked something. So this is what I see continually. Just little triggers, little changes that create huge impact for women.
So just by teaching them to be centered with their body and ground them starts to change the way they feel from the inside out?
Exactly. So the way you hold your body, studies have shown that if you hold your body in different positions for only 2 minutes, it can either raise your cortisol level or it can lower your cortisol level. So if you can imagine that you're in closed off body position, shoulders slumped forward, head down, your whole day, how is that going to feel? How are you going to feel? Your cortisol levels are constantly going to be raised. You're going to feel like this. Now, simply just starting to infuse a little bit of posture and holding your body in a correct position is going to lower those cortisol levels. The other benefit of it, besides just changing how you feel, is how other people react to you. So for most people, or for anybody, it takes 4 seconds to make an impression when somebody sees you, a nonverbal impression. 55% of that is based off of your body language. So when people start presenting themselves differently, they also notice that how people respond to them is different. It unlocks a whole bunch of benefits internally and externally.
I find that remarkable. So as we're sitting down here,
Yeah.
how would I change my posture even for 2 minutes sitting here, and everybody that's listening, because I'm not sure where everybody is. You might be at your desk, you might be walking, but How would we change our posture just for the 2 minutes that helps to shape our world a little bit different?
Yeah. So a power pose is one of the things that they say will change how you feel. And that's just simply stand up for 2 minutes, open your body language. So you can either put your arms wide out to the side, you can put your hands on your waist, kind of like a Wonder Woman, but have that feeling of opening up your body. And I usually tell my clients go for posture walks. So you people worry that they have to do it all the time, which is impossible. You can't think about your posture all the time. You just want to increase the amount of time you're doing it. So a posture walk is simply a 5 to 10-minute walk where all you're doing is thinking about your body and tuning in. And where I usually recommend people start is with their head position. So most people have that text head when your head's forward. So just simply think for 5 minutes, I'm going to hold my head back. And then don't worry about it the rest of the day. Just continue to do that day by day, and you'll start to notice the changes.
So, as these changes have started to happen, and you created this Femininity Project because of that, you gave it purpose. What has been the response from the other women that you've worked with?
Mm. The ones who are my clients are the ones
Yes.
who just,
Yes.
yeah, it is almost the same with every woman. It feels like they come alive. Like there's, I don't know, the best way I could describe it is sometimes I think when it comes to our femininity, we put up this wall of how we think we should act, how other people have told us to act. And when we start to redefine it on our own terms and in a way that feels good to us, that wall starts to come down. So you start to see the real person.
So, have they expressed to you how the people around them have responded to this new emergence of whom they really are?
Hmm. I think for some people, for different people, they have different responses. So I can think of one woman right now who says she felt like she lost being a woman for the last 20 years. We started working on these things, and this isn't the end goal for everybody, but for her, she found a partner, and a partner who absolutely adores the sense of confidence that she has now. So that's an example of one woman, and some women it is to attract a partner they're interested in. For other people, they notice a little bit of pushback because they may have acted a certain way to accommodate all the other people around them. And they're bringing basically a new person into the relationship, a new, more confident person, a new person who has more boundaries. So sometimes there's a little bit of that shifting in the relationships, and sometimes they outgrow them, and other times they grow with them.
I think that's really interesting because it's changing not only their world, but the world around them.
Yes.
And I would assume that your clients become much happier with whom they are, maybe the happiest that they've ever been. Have they expressed that to you?
Yeah, 100%. And they don't even need to say it because you can see it. When people work on these things, they every time they enter in the room, they pull the attention because there's not many people who have spent the time to focus in and actually do this work, but it's like a spotlight when they come in the room.
So, have you had any of your clients come to you and say, I don't even know what it means to be a woman. I don't know what that means for me. I know I'm a mom. I know I'm a wife. I know I'm a daughter. I know I'm a sister. I don't know what it means to be feminine for me. Do you get that conversation or that question?
Yes, that's such a good question. Like exactly what you said. They know their roles, every other role except being what a woman looks like to them. So usually what I would do with them is it has to start with a vision. So, first, I would say write it down for an hour. Just spend some time and think about how you want to look, how you want to feel, and how you want to show up. Ask yourself questions like, what is this dream version of you dressed like? Who does she hang around with? What are her passions and her hobbies? What does she spend her time doing? What does her self care routine look like? Just go without a filter and just write it all down. If you feel challenged doing that, like you can't even get to that place right now where you can visualize it, then think about a woman you admire, whether it's somebody you know or a celebrity or even a fictional character, there's probably something that you are attracted to about that person. Start to describe it and work your way out from there. Start with that vision.
Start with the vision. Okay. Because I know that a lot of us get our initial idea of what it is like to be a woman from our mothers.
Mhm.
But in some cases, our mothers didn't really have an idea either. My mom was a nurse. My mom was in scrubs and sneakers my entire life. So I didn't have a defined sense of what femininity for me was, and I've been trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
but I hadn't done it on purpose until probably the last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, I can't possibly be the only one that sits in this spot.
Yes, 100%. There's so many, I would say most women don't necessarily have an example of somebody who's thought through their femininity either, more that they are going on autopilot in their roles. So just taking that time to discover it and allow yourself to ask questions like, do I like this? When you see, just a simple example, when you see different looks on people, do I like this look? Does it resonate with me? Do I want to do this look? Is there pushback going, oh, you can't do it. You can't pull it off. Okay, well, that's just noise. Obviously, I'm attracted to this. Let's figure out how I can do it. So that would be the second stage, is looking at your list and then figuring out what skills you currently have and which ones you need. So just write down that list. And then after, choose one. Pick one thing to work on, whether it's your body language, whether it's learning how to walk in heels, working on your personal style. Start with one, build some success, and that will filter down into all the other areas.
Because as you and I had discussed before,
Mm-hmm.
skills are learnable.
Yeah.
You can teach yourself to do many, many different things. And I think what it's important to say is, even though you're talking about posture and you're talking about how you project yourself and your clothing, your appearance, that is not just skin deep. That is all to help how you feel within.
Yes.
And those are just simply tools to help you get there.
Yeah.
Because that's the work that you're really doing, is helping them transform from the inside out. And you're using, posture and how they project their voice and how they walk and what they wear as tools for them to get there. They could be in sweatpants and still feel phenomenal.
Absolutely. Yes. If they are feeling like they are showing up how they want to show up, that's the whole thing. You can feel like 100%, you can feel sexy in sweatpants if you've thought through what your femininity looks like. If you just feel kind of gross and grubby in sweatpants, then it's not for you.
Well, then there's the other side of the argument of,
Hmm.
I don't know that I can feel feminine, or my definition of feminine, all the time. That sounds like work. What would you say to a statement like that?
Yeah. So this is something that I I have learned and mastered through dancing. Because when we would compete, it wouldn't necessarily be like you would always be in the right mood to compete or to emote or even to put on this itty bitty costume that you have to go out there. And a lot of times it would be at 11 o'clock at night because it would be the last competition of the evening. But the body work was what trained me. The body work was what was able to snap me into different things. So that's why I don't always go from an emotional level, but going from a physical level. I knew what my warm up needed to be to get me in the right mindset and body position to go out and perform. So it's setting up those triggers because, yes, you can't be in the same state 100% of the time, but you want to be able to have some control of your state and be able to hack it, especially when you need to.
So it's training.
It's training and, like I mentioned before, setting up your environment with different triggers that activate it. So for example, if you know that mornings are really rough for you and it's busy with the kids, it's busy getting to work, then carve out 5 or 10 minutes see if you can get up 5 or 10 minutes early and do something that is going to help you connect to your femininity. Whether that's listening to music while you get ready, whether that's just having your lemon water, whatever it is for you, start to carve out little time where you have those moments to connect to it. So you don't get lost in the roles, because it's once you start going, it's easy to just keep going. You have to carve in those moments.
And I think that that is a pitfall that a lot of us fall into, because we all have multiple roles that we're trying to fulfill all at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
we're literally doing it simultaneously, and it's difficult, and we go on autopilot because it just all needs to get done, and we're the last priority on our list, which
Mm-hmm.
is unfortunate, where we should be our first priority. So you're saying steal 5 minutes for yourself.
Yeah, I'm saying, look, sometimes we, especially as women, we fill our days as full as possible. When we actually have that minute to relax, we fill it with something else. We go do the dishes, or it's a constant on-go process. But when we can start to think about it a little bit more and put in the time, like for example, one thing I do every month, at the end of the 30th of every month, I plan in my self-care and I make all my appointments for the next month. Any massages, any acupuncture, I do it in one day. Reason being, if I waited and was going through my week, I likely wouldn't plan it. But if I have a busy week and I see, oh, I have an hour massage, I can sneak away from that. It gets done. It's in the calendar. I don't need to worry about it. So that's an example of just carving out the things that make you feel good. And for me, make me feel feminine and healthy.
So you have put together a schedule and said, I'm going to plan time
Yeah,
for myself, because there's no way that I can continue to pour into all of the roles that I have without filling my cup up first. And that's a reoccurring theme on many of my interviews, is to make sure that you fill your own cup first, because you can't fill from an empty cup. And you are just teaching us another way on how to invest in ourselves and ground ourselves in whom we are.
100%. It's like the airlines. You have to put on your own mask before you put on somebody else's. And once you do this, there's a vitality that follows it, an energy, because when you take care of yourself, you feel good. And that pours out onto other people. But it also shows them that you're valuable. When you continue to put yourself last, what it shows them is people treat you how you show them how to treat you. When they see, oh, mom goes and gets massages, or mom goes and gets her hair done whenever she likes, it shows them that that's important, and they start to respect it too.
Oh, that is a really good point, because you're saying that you're giving value to yourself and they're watching,
Yes,
which means that they just might do that for themselves as they get older, because it's important to continue that.
exactly what you said about being a mom who is that role model, who cares about her femininity. We often see women whose moms don't, and we just remodel that. But it could work the other way too. You can flip that switch.
Yeah, because I will tell you that has been a quest for myself for the last couple of years, to define that. And it's not easy. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. It has not been easy, because you have to unbury yourself from layers and layers and layers of responsibility, and layers of autopilot that you've done for years. And that takes work. That
Yes.
takes some dedication, and it's not fun, but when you get to the core, it's pretty exciting, actually, and you just want to do more of it on purpose.
Yeah. A couple things based off of what you just said. Some of the things are fun. So there is work. There are things that you're going to have to go through that may not feel as smooth as you want them to be. But then there's also going to be things that you learn that are going to be so much fun in your femininity journey. So I want to make sure that women know that as well, that it's an enjoyable process, because you are literally unburdening yourself with other people's expectations and being on autopilot. And then the other part of that is it's a project. So the woman that you are now is not the same woman you were 10 years ago and is not going to be the same woman that you're in 10 years from now. The main question you want to ask yourself is the change intentional? It's not going on autopilot, but am I going in the direction that I want to go? Whether that changes in 5 years or not, continue to ask yourself that question.
That is such an interesting question. That's something I'm going to continue to contemplate because I had not posed that question to myself. And yeah, I'm definitely going to continue to refine and consider who it is I want to be when I grow up, basically. I want to shift for just a minute because I know that everybody is thinking, how in the world do you get to walk in heels without pain? Sarah, you're out of your mind. There's no way. I've been wearing heels for 20 years and my feet hurt every time. So tell me, what is the secret to walk in heels without your feet hurting?
Yeah, the secret is good, clear instruction from somebody who knows the mechanics of how to walk in heels without pain. So I think the problem first would be that most women just stumble into it. Basically, we stumble into walking, right? Once you get on twos instead of fours, everybody's clapping for you. But you could have developed a lot of bad habits along the way, and then add in a couple inches, and those just get magnified. So 71% of women say that heels hurt their feet, which is a huge statistic, universal problem, but it also shows that 29% say it doesn't. I've learned how to, because of my dance training, I've learned proper body mechanics and body movement. I've also learned how to be able to teach people how to do it themselves. So this course was based off of my almost 2 decades of working with women and hundreds of women who came in who asked that specific question. How do I walk in heels without pain? So it starts with there's 5 things that we need to cover. Your legs and your feet, your hips, your poise and your posture. Then there's different styles of walks and there's different arm styling. The first 3 are what's going to take away pain. The last 2 are about style and expressing your personality. So my course is based around those 5 modules.
So it's on how you walk and how you hold yourself that eliminates the pain from your feet?
Yeah, it's people often think that walking in heels is just about balance. Like if I'm balanced, I could be fine. But it also has to do with coordination, it has to do with flow, and it has to do with positioning. The only thing that you can do on your own is by practice is balance and maybe to a degree coordination. But because we are naturally balance driven creatures, we're always trying to be kept upright. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily in positions that work for us. We could be balanced with squatty bent knees, our feet turned in, and our hips collapse forward, and that's going to cause pain. So it's getting the right positions, the coordination, the flow. That's what goes into decreasing pain and increasing confidence, actually, and comfort.
So you, like I said, you are on a quest for women to find their confidence, whether it's walk in heels without pain, whether it's getting in touch with whom they really are. You're trying to change the world one woman at a time.
Yeah. I want women to feel fiercely, unapologetically feminine and enjoy all the benefits that come with that.
And I love that you are saying that it's defined as whatever you want it to be, and it's an open definition. It's not one way or the other. It's whatever is right for that woman, and regardless of what society tries to dictate to you with social media, magazines, whatnot. It's all of that is noise.
Yes.
It's just whom you believe that you are.
Who you believe that you are, that's that's the main thing, and also giving yourself the skills to see some of the transformations that happen. Like I mentioned with the body position. If you go, okay, this is just how I am, If we start changing your body position, you're going to feel different about how you are. So make sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to explore different sides of you, to get you the skills that you need to feel different ways.
Sarah, this is fascinating. This is fascinating science for an emotional state. You really are applying science to function and helping with the transformation process. And I think that is just a beautiful project that you have started.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, if the audience wanted to get in contact with you to learn more about your courses or even some personal coaching, because now we're all virtual, even though you're in Canada,
Yeah.
you could coach somebody in Nashville, Tennessee. So how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so our website is thefemininityprojectinc.com. And on Instagram, which is where I mainly hang out, it's at the Femininity Project Inc.
So make sure everybody go check it out. She is lovely. She is multi-talented, and she is just thoughtful. And I know that you will really enjoy her. Sarah, I want to give you an opportunity to leave a final sentiment with the audience. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Yeah, so first, thank you for having me on. I'm really grateful for this opportunity and to be on your platform and be able to talk to other women. Ladies, just spend the time discovering what femininity means to you and know that whatever skills you currently don't have are learnable. They're not reserved for a specific type of woman. They're available to any woman. Just get the right help.
Thank you for leaving us with that and giving us the encouragement to be brave enough to go and find it. So thank you for joining us today. I cannot thank you enough for being here and sharing your gift with us.
Thank you.
Thank you all again for listening this week, and we'll see you again next time. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being here this week. I want to say sincerely thank you to all of you for your support and your continued encouragement as we continue on this journey that I never expected. The reality is that I can't do this without you, and I wouldn't want to. I do this because I want to make us all better. I want to create a community where we feel heard, where we feel supported, and we are celebrated. And we are doing that every single day, and it's just getting better. And I want to hear from all of you. So please connect with me. And you can connect with me on any one of our social pages. And you can reach me at Audra, which is AUDRA, at womeninthearena.net. Please send me whatever you need. If you need help, if you need resources, if you want to make a referral, I want to know. So please connect with me because I can't wait to talk to you. Thank you again for being here and your support. And I can't wait to do it again next week. So we'll see you again next time.
This is just the beginning.
That's our show. I am so grateful for each and every one of you and your unwavering support and your continued belief in this movement that has become much bigger than me, much bigger than just a podcast. It has become this forward momentum that we are all doing together. If you are ready, or you know somebody that is ready to tell your story and share your value with the world, please connect with me. You can reach me at Audra at womeninthearena.net. I am so honored and thankful that you will share your story with me, and I'll make sure that it is well taken care of. I will never stop thanking each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to talk to you again next week as we share another woman's story and we celebrate her doing extraordinary things in plain sight. We'll see you next time.